upcoming trend in rap.
Is this grime?
Grime's
Is this
gonna
what grime
invade
is?
the U.S.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 11th. Never forget. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of Bliss Point, a podcast and website serving up music discussion, news, show and album reviews, and more. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Billy Gatewood.
Hello.
And Mr. Paul Cole.
Oh, hey.
Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Doing all right?
Real slow.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah,
doing pretty good.
There. Okay. That's
Feeling
good.
pretty good.
That's good. I'm glad. And I'm just shocked that this first show we have on our list, which is part of what we've been listening to, it is a band that I'm familiar with, and it's a band that I didn't see because Mr. Paul went to a show. You went to a show, buddy. Who'd you go with?
Jesus. He gets so upset when I go to shows that aren't facilitated by him.
I want you to do
He
well.
just didn't know
for
I had
yourself.
other concert buddies.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you just want to replace me, that's cool too. It's fine.
Yeah, I took a good friend of mine to this concert because it was neat. It's like he turned me on to that band before they blew up over here. But yeah, never really expected to go to a Monsters and Men concert.
Sure.
I feel like I wasn't affording the proper respect because they started their set and I was like, oh, okay, they've had 6 hits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge now.
I was thinking it was still this kind of scrappy little indie pop rock band from Iceland, but it was a really good show. They had this really insane light setup. They did a good job of mixing in the hits with some of the stuff from their more recent album, which, it lagged a little towards the center for me, but they put on a really good show. I feel like Billy would have loved the fashion game. There was a sexy, thick man on stage and like not even skinny jeans, full on tights.
Nice.
I like it.
I'm jealous,
I
actually.
was fortunate Billy wasn't there to just take notes.
Jump on in there.
Man.
Get on in there. But that's good. You said the light show was crazy for like a show of that caliber? Or was this Anthem? Light show?
Oh, yeah, this was Anthem. And then they brought like a pretty intricate rig with them. Just every single song during the set.
Hell yeah.
The whole light setup with reorient around them.
That's really cool.
As someone who can appreciate, I'm gonna jump into mine real quick because the main reason I loved this show so much was because the lights were so good, and it reminded me like it's very rare that I go to a show with a lot of production value because I'm usually going to like $15, $20 shows.
Right.
I went to go see Casey Musgraves with my wife and her friend, and we the light show was just. The show was pretty similar to when I saw her like 8 months ago, but the light show was just super cool. They had those like, those like really thin lights that like fan out like an A, so you can like see the smoke in between them. They had those all the time, and it was fucking cool. It was super neat, and the backdrop was like a huge LED screen, and then in the center was like a little like it was like a rainbow cutout. And when the show started, she came out and was just by herself with an acoustic guitar, and just like the rainbow part was lit, and just smoke was like billowing out. It was just like super high production value. Like her backing band is incredible. She sounds really, really good live, and like I almost to the point to where I was like, is she faking it? Like,
really?
Is this a backing?
Is that good?
It was that good, and the only reason I knew it wasn't faking it is because halfway through the set, or 2/3 through the set, they came out and did like an acoustic set, and it was like the whole band. They did like the whole bluegrass thing. Like everybody switched to acoustic instruments, and they did a bunch of songs, bunch of her songs acoustically. She's amazing.
How was it at Wolf Trap? Because I know that was a weird venue choice.
So I didn't know this, but she's been there several times, so she
Interesting.
loves that venue.
Interesting.
And honest to God, it's one of my favorite venues, if not my favorite in the area.
Can you think of a better, sound-wise, can you think of a better outdoor venue in all of the DMV?
No, absolutely not. Like Jiffy Lube does not come close. Merriweather, I think, has gotten better, but Wolf Trap is definitely my favorite.
You had seats, right?
Yes, I had box seats top left.
Okay. Can you bring food and drinks to seats, or is that just laws? Okay,
yeah, you can only do food and drink outside.
Yeah,
So
with the
stupid.
riffraff.
We bought beers to just hang out, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you can't take those into the pavilion, but you can buy these cups for $5 and pour your beer into the cups. And I was like,
Really?
I'll just chug my beer outside the
okay.
thing. Thank you very much. So yeah, that was weird. And I mean, it's very hoity-toity. It's fucking Wolf Trap.
Right.
I haven't been there in a while.
It's great, man. The sound was incredible. They sounded really, really good. And it's just the perfect night too. It was like 65 degrees, like just
Makes all the difference in the world.
it was perfect.
Yep.
Speaking of perfect nights, I think you on the same night you had a very late night. You went to go see Tritonal.
I did. Standard twice a year trip
when they come through
to Echo Stage to see Tritonal.
Well, we should clarify that you are friends with one of the guys, so you do go to see him.
Yes,
partially as well.
Mainly go to hang out and catch up with him.
Yes,
but it's always fun to see what they're doing. It was a cool.
How many pitches do they play at once?
What's that?
How many pitches do they play at once?
Actually,
the Devil's Tritonal. the 3.
So what was interesting about this show is they played with Audion, who's pretty big in his own right as far as like progressive house EDM music goes. But Tritonal, it wasn't a tour; it was like a one-off kind of show. So you could tell they were trying out some new things, trying out some new music, and it sounds like they're kind of going back to their like trancey days. It's not so melodic, like vocal driven.
Is that something
EDM.
you're excited for?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded cool. It was fun. People were definitely into it. Like
It's not the usual trajectory.
they're usually one step ahead. Like just because the industry is always like researching like where music is trending, they're typically one step ahead of like where music is going.
So this may be like a preview of like the hype
like
shit
exactly
to come.
what's coming in the EDM world because people were into it and it was a good show. And yeah, it was fun.
It never occurred to me that like bands like that try out material like comedians try out material.
Yeah,
like just to see like, oh, this song was hype as fuck. Like this one maybe not so much. Like maybe we'll wait 6 months and kind of see.
It's exactly
where the
like a
landscape is
stand-up
at.
set where they
That's
throw
cool.
in these things at different
really
times
cool.
in the set to
I've
see how
always
they flow.
assumed that's what secret shows and things are sort of
Sure.
about.
Yeah.
You know, some hardcore people are going to show up.
Try
that
the
are
new
gonna
shit. Yeah.
Be more patient
see
with
how
you.
it lands. And for your second show on the list,
Yeah, last night.
yeah, you went to go see. I want to know. They sounded good on Snapchat, but obviously the video doesn't do it justice. How my boys do? How is All Get Out live?
All
Never seen
Get
them
Out
before.
was so good live.
Yeah. Okay.
So good.
Was there a bassist?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
The way you shot it, it looked like just two guitarists and a
honestly,
drummer. And I was like,
we were
holy
so
shit.
close that like you couldn't get the full stage because that
gotcha.
place is so small.
Yes, it
and
is
we were
tiny.
so close because there was not many people there.
I was
It
gonna say,
it was,
I was like, how did you get all the way
yeah.
up front
I-
at a show like that?
I thought that was a stacked lineup between Many Rooms, All Get Out,
Yeah.
and Acid East Burn. I expected it to be packed. There was maybe 70 people there, which
rough.
was wild.
That's rough.
Like it filled that bottom floor up,
Yeah.
but everybody had plenty of space.
It was
Well,
because it
it's
was
just-
Tuesday.
I always enjoy, but you also
Yeah,
want to see them.
I
Like,
know.
sell out a venue or
Right.
something, especially with how like venerated.
They
I'll
took
say
their
Acid
name
East
too
Burn is.
seriously.
For Many
Yeah,
Rooms,
it's true. Yeah.
honestly, for Many Rooms, there's probably 6 people watching and maybe like 30 people at the bar.
Jesus Christ.
And it was
That
so
sucks.
awkward and
'Cause
uncomfortable.
she's so good.
She's so good.
That
And
sucks.
it was really awkward. And at the end of her set, she was just like, Thanks for watching and not going to the bar. And then just walked off the stage.
Oh my God, that's
it
so
was
awkward.
so
We've seen a
awkward.
lot of really good up and comers just absolutely disrespected.
Yes.
'cause they're
Yeah,
opening
it
for
was.
somebody.
It kind of sucked. All Get Out came out next. Incredible. Played like a solid 7 or 8 songs.
Cool.
Opened with the season and closed with Austin, Texas, and played some new stuff in between.
Nice.
But it was a good balance of new and old. You know,
Awesome.
like half and half split.
Good to hear that.
They were so good. Their guitar tones are incredible.
Nice.
They have
I do love
awesome
the guitar
stage
tones.
presence. Their lead guitarist is just super fun to watch.
And he sounds good, like vocally.
Vocally is incredible.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Vocally
what
is
I was
great.
always. I didn't know if like because Andy Hall
Yeah.
of Manchester Orchestra, who they remind me a lot of.
Yes.
I was always worried before I really got into them that like he wouldn't hold up live.
Yeah.
And I think he totally does.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got that same type of like gasping, whiny kind of voice, like high register.
Yeah.
that I was like, I don't know if it'll hold up.
And they're
but
just
that's good.
They're just like so in sync and so
Nice.
in tune with each other, and they
That's
just it was awesome. And Acid East Bird came on, played for about 50 minutes. Also a good selection of old and new. Played about like 70% old stuff,
Nice.
30% new stuff.
And do they have a new record coming out, or did it?
They
come
had
out?
a new record
They
come
had a
out
new- that's right,
a
that's
few,
right.
maybe a month or two ago.
Okay, yeah.
Which I'm not super into.
Sure.
But you know, live
good that
it's
they played old
fine.
stuff,
you
though.
know, yeah, and they played plenty of old stuff, which was the main reason I wanted to see them. Interesting choice in their set selection.
What do you mean?
Well, one thing, their second guitarist was not there.
Okay, and he's like normally part of the band.
Yep.
Okay,
He was there when I saw them 2 months ago.
cool.
So he was not there this time.
That's awkward.
Which was interesting.
No break, Billy. Like you've never called out sick.
Yeah, it was weird.
He's just hanging out on the tour bus watching movies.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
the
not
deal
feeling it
was.
tonight.
Because like they're very much like this band Currents, where they're really heavy, but their bass carries the rhythm section, and their guitarists are basically just both dueling leads. So you still had that driving like rhythm bass, and the one main dude who does vocals and writes most of the stuff on lead guitar and vocals. So it didn't necessarily sound like it was lacking, but it was just an interesting choice to
sounded
not have a second.
Though?
It was a little noticeable. I would have liked to have that second guitar there.
Yeah, that is weird.
And so the screamer, who doesn't play any instruments, came out and they just crushed through like 5 songs, and then he went off stage, and they did a song, and then they did another song, and I was like, okay, you know, because the screamer, he left for the middle albums and then came back for the new album,
Right.
So I was like, okay, like they'll do a couple of songs, but I'm sure they'll bring him back in.
Yeah.
They went for like 30 minutes without him. And he came out at the very end, did 2 more songs, and then went back off so the guitarist could do a solo song to
Super
end.
weird.
It was very strange. Just a weird
Did they play
choice.
it literally in order?
What's that? No. Well, they played old and new to start,
Right.
where he's on the tracks. But even with the stuff in the middle, they could easily have fit him in. So I don't know if it was a choice of like, I can't do 50 minutes of screaming vocals every night over and over
Maybe.
again. It was just a weird.
Yeah,
That's a weird choice.
Weird song choice. Weird choice, and it kind of, you just were constantly thinking like, is he coming back? Like what happened?
Right.
Like, where'd he go? So that was just a little distracting.
Pick your set list a little bit better. Like,
Yeah, right, just
obviously
pick-
play a
yeah.
couple because
Right.
you know that's what people want to hear. But
Yeah.
that's weird.
But honestly, it was a good show. It was fun. It was entertaining. Autobar has not changed in the 15, 20 years I've been going there.
And that's kind of why I like it.
you go changing out of bar.
It's I mean,
Is
it's
that
still
area
great.
any different? Like I feel
Yes,
like they,
it's
okay.
completely different.
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
street
they
that
really
Auto
gentrified the
yeah,
shit out
the
of
street
that
that
area.
Autobar is on
Yeah.
is the dividing street where
Gotcha.
one side has not changed at all and the
Okay.
other side is completely gentrified.
That's 5 seconds. I was keeping track.
Yep.
How long until somebody said the word gentrified?
I mean,
Big
I
winner.
was gonna say when you're talking about venues,
Yep.
it's just goes hand in hand.
so it was fun.
Cool. All right, Paul. It's our turn.
It is our time.
Um,
Something I've been waiting for quite some
King
time.
Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard
Oh,
at what do you think?
I
it
thought we were
was?
talking about something else.
Oh no, King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard at 9:30 Club. King Giz sounded really good. I thought that they sounded really good. They had what 3 or 4 guitarists, a
Yep.
bassist, 2 drummers. They did the 2 drums thing live, which
do
I
like
was
that.
very curious about. They sounded incredible. They were super in sync, very tight. All the songs sounded great.
Yeah, even the openers they chose, every one of those bands was just like a heavy riffing band.
Yeah.
And I don't mean in terms of like detuning or anything. I mean like everybody had just really either strong or machine gun riffs, and I didn't expect it.
And therein lies the problem. My problem with this show is that first band, not so much the second band, particularly the first band. So just to give you context, show started, doors opened at 8. First band went on at 8:30. They played until 9:15. This is an opener.
Wow.
Second band came on at close to 10. Like not a round
What?
number.
Yeah.
Yes.
It took almost
King
45
Giz
minutes.
did not go on until like 11:15. It was 12:30 when Paul and I left, and there was no encore yet.
Was this a weeknight or a?
This was a Saturday.
Okay, I just didn't
And,
know
like,
if they had curfew or something.
No, like that was my part of me wishes that we would have stayed, but also I was just so livid at the fact that we were there for 3 hours and I saw 45 minutes, an hour of the band that I wanted to see.
Right.
And like there's like 30 minutes between sets, like
That's insane.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
It made me feel like I was getting old. Because
yeah,
we're sitting
it was
there
fucking
just
stupid.
not very much enjoying the headliner, even though they're doing a great job.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was a great performance.
It was
but-
just and the bone that I have to pick with the opening bands is like they're very much that like stoner metal, like very riffy, and like the first band I don't think knew how to write a song. They just wrote a bunch of riffs.
Wow.
They just wrote, all they did was it was like riff 1,
Yeah.
riff 2, riff 3, riff 4, and then the song was over.
Uh-huh.
But it's just like everything just kind of looped into a different riff. And like, yeah, the riffs were cool and they sounded great and the vocals were neat and like kind of King Crimson and like old, but like I was like just falling asleep, just standing there, just
Yeah.
waiting for it to be over.
Was it a sold out show?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
So you
it
guys
was-
down on the floor?
Well,
up
that
on-
was the thing. We got really good spots right behind or right in front of the sound guy.
Yeah.
That's a good trick, folks.
that's
You
the
hear
best.
basically what the sound
Yeah,
guys
it
hearing.
was great
Centrally
until King Giz went on, and then it got super packed, and Paul left to just take a quick breather, and I was like, dude, there's physically no room.
Yeah.
Like I had to push my way. Like people physically couldn't move to get out of my way.
Gotta throw some bows.
And it was honestly the most
Jordan Kaufman,
uncomfortable I've
goddammit.
ever been.
I
Like,
can't- yeah.
I'm not
Ugh.
claustrophobic at all, but it was like dude was touching my chest in
Yeah.
front of me, and like both people on the sides of my shoulders. Like it was
That's
a
miserable.
nightmare. So King is very good live. I will definitely show up way later next time.
Yeah.
Just because we got there earlier than I anticipated, but I was like, King will be on by like 10 and we'll be out of there before 12. No, not even
Wow.
close. So yeah. I think you really have to be into that type of music. So
That second opener, though, I mean, it's typical stoner rock stuff, some interesting licks, but they had the gimmick going of I think they were all sisters.
Yeah.
It was like a 4-piece
Yeah.
band. And I will say this, the drummer was also, main vocalist.
Oh,
And
interesting.
she was doing some awesome fucking screaming.
she killed it
while she was on Kit.
She was great.
It wasn't a Ringo
So.
Starr situation.
Yeah, I also couldn't tell you the name of the openers. I wish I knew. But anyway, let's jump into singles. So a bunch of singles this week. Honestly, the weirdest week for me. I have a bunch of singles that I'm super passionate about, and then a bunch of albums I don't really give a shit about. So, but
I wish music would have been more considerate of.
I know. We have a show to
interest.
put on, So first track, Anamanaguchi, Lorem Ipsum, Arctic Anthem. Really great, high gloss, like nostalgic, 8-bit kind of EDM. Just like super, would you say drum and bass a little bit?
It had a little
Billy?
bit, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's just like super phonetic and like very. It was like 5 minutes long, and just like every knob to the boards, like just so everything is just maximalist and crazy.
I just love the video game music influence.
Yeah, and I think he goes the proper distance with it. I think he really melds both the chiptune stuff and the high gloss EDM, whereas like I think a lot of people kind of bungle that a bit. But yeah, I'm very excited for this record. It's got a new record, USA, coming out soon, I believe. Guerilla Toss, forever my favorite weird 80s post-punk band. New song, Plants. Sick bass guitar. Very, very cool. Weird female vocals that they're known for. But yeah, I'm excited for this record, per usual. Sasami, what do we think? I know, Paul, you mentioned the vocals are different.
I mean, I was impressed with how clean they are. Like literally nothing put on them.
Yeah, that was a
Very stripped down.
interesting choice. Like I think she's a good singer. I don't think she's like the best singer I've ever heard, but I do appreciate the choice to leave them bare and like really high in the mix.
And I think it's just because she sings at a lower register, and everything else in that genre, they tend to just throw a lot of reverb
Yes.
on there, or
Yep.
something along those lines.
Get the wispy Claro effects going on.
But I liked it. There's something more honest about it.
I love the guitar too.
Yeah.
The guitar really hooked me. New Grimes track, Violence. A couple weeks after we did the new Poppy track, I realized that these tracks are polar opposites, but they do remind me of one another in their like weird abstract attitude towards music. And this is just like a cool, like, not K-pop, but like very. She's got those like real high angel vocals. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh, yeah.
Just cool
I mean,
pop music.
that's the only way I'd know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's
She's
just
got those Nicole Dollenganger vocals.
she does. Yes, the very like
But just over like
wispy-
some really poppy like.
Yes.
I feel like people
electronic
should
music.
check her out just from a complete entertainment perspective.
Oh, yeah.
The videos and the visuals are a big
Yes.
part of it.
Yeah, she's very much like she does the whole package. This new record's about some AI that gains sentience or some bullshit. So I'm very excited to see what she does. She has been willing to do weird stuff, like throw in the jet guitars and like go all weird with it. But this song is definitely pop. So
Yep.
it might be good for someone who's really not even into her. Mr. Danny Brown, Dirty Laundry.
Always good.
Oh man,
New album coming out October 4th. Probably my most anticipated album for this year, for sure. You guys liked it? Good.
Yeah,
I
was
loved it.
Super stoked.
Because to me, I could be reading too much into it. There's always this concern I have when a really good rap artist kind of gets into a lot of other stuff, like TV shows, cookbooks, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And it seems like their output just suffers. But I feel like Danny Brown's really still in his element. I think that his ability to do other projects like that means he doesn't have to worry about commercial appeal.
Right.
I remember him doing interviews years ago talking about how people would come out to hear him perform Dip, and then they would like get really antsy when he'd do his more hardcore, just really crazy verses.
Right.
And you know, I
People
feel
just wanna
like
hear the party rap.
the better he does, the more he can just do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want to hear him do really insane verses over odd time signatures and really strange hooks.
Yeah, weird beats and like give me all of it. Give me all of it.
And I'm hoping this just signals more of that. What'd you think of it?
I was a big fan. I was nervous because when I first heard it, he does like a weird like a couple. There's like maybe a minute without like a beat to it. It's got like the real simple instrumental behind it.
Once he kicks in, it's
I don't know
so
how I feel
good.
about it, but the beat when it's not like a crazy drop or anything, but it's just enough, and it's enough weird new Danny that I'm into it.
The video is great too.
Yes. And speaking of weird new Danny, got new turnover, Billy.
And it's also weird.
It's very weird. 2 tracks, Much After Feeling, Plant Sugar. Plant Sugar was not feeling as much.
Not great.
Very kind of. The only reason I didn't like it is because it didn't feel like their normal like emo pop, like kind of gothic.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you want. Shoegaze is the word I was looking for. I don't know. I didn't feel that at all. But Much After Feeling, I think, has their sound, but in a much different way.
Yeah, they're clearly doing. They're taking another turn after Peripheral Vision and then Good Nature. I mean, those were 2 very different sounds. Like still in this
Very much
tone
Turnover,
of what Turnover
yeah,
does,
yeah.
but Good Nature obviously a lot more poppy and bubbly and stuff like that. They're clearly transitioning now to something that's a little bit more. Would you say 80s? Like kind of has like some
synth pop ish, like
right.
at least for most of the Much After Feeling,
Yeah.
the guitars feel like kind of background.
Yeah.
Like, synths are definitely high in the mix, and like his vocals are still the same, but
There's
it
just
feels
a ton
like a different
of
track.
like reverb and stuff
Yeah.
like that on his vocals and the guitar.
Yeah, so I was very nervous just because I don't think I could do another Good Nature or another Peripheral Vision. I think those albums are great as they are.
Right.
I wanted something different, and this is definitely different.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Just 2
50-50.
Yeah, I mean, like the one song is great and the other song is just not very good. So
yeah.
who knows
So we'll
what
see.
they're gonna do.
I mean, maybe it'll be better in the context. So who knows? Comet is coming. Crazy jazz funk psychedelic group. Lifeforce Part 2 is the song. I'm surprised you guys like this. I'm glad you did.
That hurts, buddy.
Well, I mean, I said you were gonna like it, and then you got all upset when you were like, "You don't know me." So I was like, "I don't know," and you did like it. So I feel like I do know you at least a little bit. But anyways, the track is real good. It's cool, like jazz funk fusion that feels very modern. So I'm excited for their record if there is one coming. Hopefully, Homeboy Sandman, Far Out, underground rap track, very solid jazz-esque beat with some kind of monotone lo-fi vocals. Just a great hip-hop track if you're into the jazzy lo-fi stuff. And this last track, just in time for Halloween, Denzel Curry, Slowthai, hottest UK rapper in the business right now, released a track called Psycho, that is literally using the strings from Psycho. The beat is wild.
Yeah, that's what makes it.
Even if you guys don't like Denzel, like the beat is just nuts. And
What is this? 2 episodes in a row we've done Halloween rap.
yeah, it's true. It's
Just
coming.
keep releasing it early.
It's coming, baby. Slowthai's verse is awesome. Denzel's is okay. I like him a lot, and I think it was fine. He does his yelling thing, but Slowthai was great, and I love these two together. Let's jump into some shout outs. We have a bunch here from both me and Mr. Billy. Paul, do you want to talk about Fear Inoculum with me? Tool.
Hey,
They
don't
put
act
out a
like I
new-
didn't listen to it.
You're not missing anything.
Oh no, I listened to it.
Oh, you did listen to
Yeah.
it. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I
I
thought you
listened
said
to
you
it.
did listen to it.
No, I listened to
How,
it.
did you get like 2 minutes into it? You're like, nah.
No, I listened to a lot of it.
I want to hear
and I
from
was
the
like,
guy who isn't like.
don't
as
get
big
your
on
hopes up.
Tool.
I'm not saying it's good.
No, I don't care.
No, I listened to all of it, and I was like, yeah,
You listened to all of it,
I
really?
haven't been missing anything.
Really?
Yeah, I just.
I'm surprised you stuck around that long. Honestly,
it
it's
was
an
tough.
hour and a half.
It was definitely background
It's a-
music,
okay,
like while
yes.
I was working.
Yes. It is.
I'll let you. You guys liked it.
It
Better
is a
than I did, so you
weird.
guys
It is
talk
a
about
weird record. It is for people who don't like Tool already. Billy,
Hey.
you're not gonna like this album. It is not for you. It is not for. Allegedly, not really for anybody. Because people who like Tool kind of don't really like the album either.
Is that true? I am
is,
very curious
for the
just to
most
see
part.
what the reaction is about this because I didn't listen to old Tool. I don't know if this is what they sounded like.
Yeah,
It's very, very, very mixed.
Okay.
a lot of the elements that I enjoy from old Tool albums are there. Like
Yes.
a lot of the go-tos.
Is that like his vocals and stuff like that,
Yes.
or
he's been the most consistent part of
Okay.
Tool, like the weird trippy lyrics,
Right,
and
right.
like
Yeah.
his vocal style has
But,
not changed.
You know, things like the tribal drums and
Yeah.
the prominence of like a really big bass riff and it's like slap back delay on the bass. And then nice heavy chording. Like it's to me, a lot of those elements are still there. I
yes.
definitely get why the hardcore Tool fans,
Yeah.
whoever they may be, don't like it as much. But I didn't find anything crazy offensive about it.
No, for me it was I didn't really like it on my first listen, but I found myself, I forget what I was working on something and I just had it on and it's a very meditative album. I don't think it lacks the immediacy and strength of 10,000 Days, which was their previous record, and in my opinion, one of their best. And I don't think the songwriting is there, particularly because I feel like a lot of the guitar work seems recycled. Like, it doesn't seem new to me, and that's the only thing that really my big gripe with it. Some of it, like Tempest, is an amazing song. It's very, very good. And it's Tool. Like if you have loved Tool up until this point and you don't really give a shit about like are they pushing boundaries or whatever, you're gonna like this record because it's Tool.
What's their deal? Like, how had they been touring again?
So they've done, I think, a couple one-off shows since they released 10,000 Days, which was almost 10 years ago.
I think
but-
we were at one of those.
Yeah, we were. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they're just very particular about their album writing process.
Yeah.
And for good up until this point, for good reason, it made a lot of sense. So
what
this
I
is
had read was the lead singer cares more about his winery than he cares about Tool,
that is also, yes, that's
which
one of
I
the
had
big
no
rumors.
idea that
Yes.
like he even had a
They
winery.
He's
all
got his
moved
fingers
on
in a lot of
pretty well.
pies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
And they all do other stuff.
Have they
too.
always done these 10-minute long songs with these weird 2 to 3 minute long ambient interludes? Is that like a Tool thing?
The interludes is another thing.
Yeah.
They have done interludes before, but not to the excess of this
Right,
record. Because there's like
exactly.
4 or 5 of them, and they're
yeah.
all like 2 to 3 minutes long.
The thing is, they did it so well in the other albums. If we sat
Yeah.
here and had you listen to 10,000 Days, the even if it's a crazy build-up, it really pays off no matter what. But this doesn't seem to be giving
there's
people
no
the same
build-up.
vibe.
I mean, I felt like the interludes were within the songs. I didn't need an extra interlude in between 10-minute long songs.
You're totally right. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely right. So yeah, new Tool. The Highwomen, self-titled album, featuring Brandi Carlile and Maren Morris, who's huge right now. Just a sweet, excellent modern country singer-songwriter record. It's got 4 ladies on it: Amanda Shires, and I forget the 4th lady, or maybe there's a 5th. I don't remember. They did a cover of The Chain with Jimmy Fallon, I believe.
Oh, cool!
It was excellent.
Awesome.
They're super talented.
I listened to this as well, and
it's always what I thought
great.
that song needed was Jimmy
It's a little
Fallon.
twangy. It's not like
twangy.
It's something that I'm still warming up to as someone who's never really been big into country. But this is just a sweet little record, and the production's great. Billy, you want to run down your shout-outs?
Yeah, sure. First on the list is Ley Lines by Flor. I've been a big fan of them for a while now, and this was their much-anticipated second follow-up album.
They're like synth poppy.
They're like indie pop.
Okay.
There's no synth. It's
okay.
just,
Okay. Just guitar.
I mean, there's
Not a
little
single synth on that album.
There's a little bit of synth, but like
Yeah.
their live show is basically just all
Sure.
organic instruments. But it's solid. I mean, if you like Flor, you're gonna like the album. They have such a unique sound to them, and his voice is so unique. It's not quite as catchy as their first album, which had a ton of like just really catchy hits on it. This is more consistent, but without some of the like higher
Mature,
moments.
maybe?
It's a little bit more mature, yeah. And especially vocally, they definitely try to take a little bit more of a mature tone with the vocals, which I could take it or leave it. You know, it doesn't do much for me as far as lyrics go. But you know, it's just a solid Flor album. They're incredible to see live. I'm bummed we won't be able to see them on this tour, but I'm sure the new stuff sounds really good live. I could imagine that. That's one of their things is their live show just has so much more energy than their albums put off. And they're just a lot of fun. So
That's good.
I think seeing them live may even make me like this album that much more.
Sure. I can see that.
This next one I've been looking forward to for what, like 4 or 5 years? Melanie Martinez finally released K
Circus
through 12. Yes, known for Crybaby. Yeah, that album is so good. It's so good.
I'm not super familiar. I just know that like her music always like reminded me of like gothic circus pop.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was thinking she'd never release K through 12 all at once because typically you want to stagger them. There's not usually enough school buses.
Right. So this whole thing, it's a concept.
Oh, is
it's
it?
a concept album
Okay, here we go.
that she made a movie for. So the movie and the album go together. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know how good it is. Maybe that completely changes the listening experience. But I just listened to the album.
If it's anything
just
like
Boyhood.
the Childish Gambino movie, I'm gonna say probably didn't change.
It's about some girl. It's I don't know. This album seemed a little bit too childish for me, which I mean, it's called K through 12, but whatever.
Literally, yeah.
I liked her first album so much because she could use those childish themes, but make them about really adult concepts.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where this is it just feels very childish. Like, why are you bullying me?
Yeah.
And it's just there's no real. I don't know. I was really disappointed.
You're hoping for like more like maturation of like sound and ideals.
And it is. I mean,
she's not like that young, right?
No, she's probably like mid 20s.
Okay, so like bullies are still a thing. I get it, but like I don't know. So someone
every
in their
song
20s like whining about bullies is just like
every song is a title something related to school, like being in high school and whatnot. And
maybe it's not.
That's never been
I
done
wonder
before.
if it's being marketed towards like different. Like I wonder if, and not to exclude you because I'm sure plenty of people not in K through 12 like this type of music, but I wonder if it's like geared towards kids who deal with bullies on a daily basis.
Here's the thing.
Which sounds like a dumb PSA project.
Dean and I went and saw Melanie Martinez on her Crybaby tour, the first album tour. They came through Jam and Java.
Okay.
Which is this tiny, maybe 200 person venue. It was Dean and I, and maybe 150 12 and 13-year-olds. No exaggeration.
Are you sure you weren't there to see Rock
No exaggeration. And now, I swear, I was the tallest person there by like 3.5 feet.
Is that not often
Were you
true?
right up front?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yes.
It was on the wall. Just it was.
You should have stood
I
right
should
front
have.
and center.
I should have.
Like,
I'm sure the big
Oh,
man with the
man.
beard was welcomed with open
It
arms.
was. It was a great show. Very
That's
uncomfortable. But she's gone from that. Hasn't done anything since that tour. And now she's headlining All Things Go in DC, which is a 2-day music
oh,
festival.
wow. Okay.
So like,
That's pretty big.
so I'm just speaking to the audience.
Yeah.
Her audience was clearly not meant for me, but now it is, because that's, you know, the audience at All
she's
Things Go is going to be
catering
like
to
people age.
mid-20s to
people who
mid-30s.
enjoy pop music, a little indie pop music.
But
you know?
the sound of her new album is the opposite, so I don't know what she's doing. Best of luck. I do.
Keep the
Mazel tov.
change.
Have fun.
Sorry.
Keep the change, you bitch.
What else do I have?
What the hell does the IDKWIDH stand for, Billy?
I would have to look that up.
Okay.
It's Patternist. It's I don't know what I'm doing here anymore, or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Patternist, just a solid synth pop dude that I've been listening to for a while. He
Okay.
always seems to make it on my spring mixes.
Sure.
When I do little mixtapes and stuff like that. So this is probably his third or fourth. Actually, that's a lie. I don't know what it is. He's done a bunch of EPs, a couple of full lengths. I don't know what number, but it's a full length album. It's just if
He's
you
been
want
around for a while.
He's been around for a while. He's never really picked up and done anything like noticeable,
But he does that thing.
but he
very
does
well.
this thing that just is fun.
Yeah.
If you just want a good
Hey.
vibe, you just want to
I've been there.
some
I
some
love
pop
vibing.
in, yeah,
Yeah.
right. You
I
know,
love
if you just
vibing.
like, it's good road trip music, just
Sure.
if you're like on your way to the beach.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of vibing,
Oh yeah,
this next one. Death Cab for Cutie. Blue EP.
the Blue EP.
The Blue EP.
Are we Weezer now?
I guess. They're getting to be Weezer status with how often they're so fucking inconsistent.
I don't
Honest
know.
to God.
Weezer comes out of the gates every 5 years and has another hit. So
That's fair.
that-
When's the last time Death Cab had a hit? Ben.
Probably a lot.
Shut up.
lately.
Shut up. That's actually
the
that
next
might be
album,
true. Shut up.
next Death Cab album is gonna just have a nice
Yeah.
cover.
Since you're
on
speaking
it.
of Weezer, is anybody going to the Green Day
No.
Fall Out Boy Weezer
Abs-
tour
have
presented
you-
by Harley Davidson?
no,
At
let
Network.
the record show that the DMV
God.
must love the Green Day
Isn't that-
because
Oh God.
the
Isn't that so weird?
the main rock station around here played their new single every hour. yesterday.
Really?
It's not good.
Every
I haven't heard it.
hour.
It's not good.
I mean, I would never go. You couldn't pay me to go see that.
No,
tour, but-
that sounds
funny.
terrible.
I was hoping he wasn't waving to a towel.
But yeah,
yeah.
Death Cab. So the To the Ground.
yeah.
Great track.
Yeah, the opening
I
track is
love
so
that
good.
track. It's so different for them. It's kind of noisy. It's a little out there. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little out of comfort zone. Kids from 99?
Kids in
Kids in
'99.
99. It's not bad.
That's a
that song's
solid
pretty
standard
good.
Death Cab track, and I was very pleased with that.
Yes, it does feel like modern Death Cab. Yes.
But then it just kind of drops off and gets a little boring.
Yeah.
I know, Paul, you said you went into it with no expectations and found it enjoyable.
Right,
which,
but
which
I
is
also
maybe
sat
the way
through
to go.
that Tool album, so I guess I just don't mind soundscapes for a while.
Yeah, that's also
hang out
true.
with Robert
Like
Fripp.
it seems like my problem is I always go. It would be impossible for me to remove my low expectations for Death Cab for Cutie at this point.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm always disappointed. But I feel like I would probably enjoy it more if I went into it being like, you know what, I'm
Well,
not gonna.
because you
I don't
know
want
that-
anything out of this.
You know their potential.
But I think that's why I love To the Ground so much because I was like, I'm probably not gonna like anything
Yeah.
on here, and like To the Ground was so. Fucking
I mean, it's
good.
a great opening track.
I
It
was
got me
hyped.
real hyped.
I was so hyped.
I wish we'd look into an alternate universe where all these bands just make the same album over and over again. See if anyone's happier with that.
That would be a good thought project actually. If like someone was forced to listen to the same, like if bands were just creating the same album over and over and
Yeah,
over
I mean, at the
again.
end of the day, it's art, but damned if they
Yeah.
do, damned if they don't.
That's true. That is true. Hey, somebody's got to make money. New releases. Jump
Yeah.
into new releases real quick. Billy, Saves the World by Muno. We heard Number One Fan before.
We did talk about Number One Fan.
That track sounded very familiar.
When that single came out, I was very excited for this album to drop. This, I mean, it's dead even with my album of the week. I honestly could not decide which one to put where. This album is so good. 3-piece band that just pumps out this like heartbreaking, but sometimes like challenging, happy electro pop rock. I think is what people are calling it.
It's like super high production value too.
Super high production value. A lot of like driving synth bass. But then there's tons of like real instrumentation with acoustic guitar and electric guitar. But it was interesting. I thought it was going to be just an album full of like bangers, and it's not. They have a
there's a lot
really
of
good dynamic of like slow tracks, of heartbreaking tracks, really sad songs. It opens up with a soft piano track. It's really good. I don't think there's a bad song on this album. I'm super pleased with it. It really blew my expectations away. I was
Number
really
One Fan
hyped.
is still really good.
Number One
like
Fan
that
is
track
so
a lot.
good, and then the track after that, Stay Away, I think, is awesome.
Yes, that
so
sounds
good.
about right. Yeah.
Navy Blue is a great song. There's just,
I think she's like, as someone who's not into synth pop, really, I really appreciated like this one having a really strong female vocalist.
Yeah.
Like, because typically it's, for me, a lot of the time it's just like a mediocre male vocalist that's like crooning emo kind of shit. And this, she sells that 80s thing, but it's not cheesy. Like, she has an 80s edge to her, but she is it's very emotive. Like, I think she has she has a lot of power behind her voice, and that I was appreciative of.
Yeah, I'm real stoked on it.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thanks.
My new release this week, Mirrorland by Earth Gang. I was real excited for this record. I like 3 tracks in, I was like, this is gonna be my album of the week. This is it. I found it. And it wasn't. So if you guys like Outkast, you guys remember Outkast. They're pretty big. They're kind of a big deal. So
That was rude.
Is that the people that don't know who Ozzy Osbourne is on the new Post Malone track?
correct.
Is that who you're talking
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, these guys are definitely doing their own thing, but I feel like they derive a lot of their sound and influence from Outkast. But they do this really cool, like, dark soul, psychedelic, like, kind of in the vein of, like, Flatbush Zombies, but more southern.
I was about to ask, is that
Yeah.
why you say, like, because
Yes.
we had that huge wave in the early 2000s of, like, Southern rap.
Yes.
And they'd been neglected for so long compared to both coasts.
Yes.
It would be nice to see that come back
Absolutely.
again.
Especially in this style. Like, I can't wait to follow these guys and see whatever they do. I think they're really, really talented. I just think some of their songwriting just wasn't great. And there's a vocalist, it's a group of 2, and it's one of the guys does singing and rapping. I don't know if the other guy does production and rapping, but the guy that sings his voice is just so unique and so wavery that sometimes it's really, really cool and really out there, and other times it's just really annoying and kind of screechy.
That makes me nervous.
So like 4 or 5 songs on here, maybe a little more, are just like, I just can't do the hooks, but like the other songs are just fucking awesome. Like, Paul, do you remember the track with Outkast and Killer Mike?
Ooh, that was
in
wild.
the whole world.
You said about the one he did for that Scooby-Doo movie?
The Scooby-Doo movie, yes.
I bought this
absolutely.
vinyl because it was just such a weird thing to have.
So that track is like a lot of the vibe of the good songs on this
awesome.
album. And it's fucking great. It's really, really good. Like,
I'm intrigued
there's some really good hooks on here. There's a great T-Pain feature. La La Challenge, Top Down and Up. It's like the first 3 tracks, maybe first 4 tracks are incredible. Just very, very good. But just a lot of it doesn't hit the bar for me. So let's jump into Album of the Week.
Yeah.
And I am just so disappointed in myself.
It's not your fault. They released it a week early.
Those motherfuckers. I knew I
Not your
had
fault.
it right.
You did have it right.
Okay, cool. Actually, do you mind? Can we switch? Can I do mine first? Because I don't really mind mine
go
as
for
much.
it.
Okay, cool. I'm going to do mine first. Forever Turn Around by Whitney. If you like Whitney, more Whitney, ladies and gentlemen. It's the greatest sell. I know you don't really like the vocals, right? It's kind of froggy.
So I will say, I turned this album on, and I actually really enjoyed the first song, and then it just falls apart. Just fell apart.
That's fair.
And then Howdy put out a new single this week, and I was like, just another reminder why Howdy is so much better than Whitney.
Howdy is great. Whitney is the thing that I love about Whitney is probably my biggest complaint with this record is their sound. I think is super unique in that they do this really cool like filtered old age guitar like horns pop sound that I don't think is very popular nowadays. And I think they do it very well, but they also, I don't think they do much else. No. Like they write really gorgeous arrangements, and I think their songwriting is top notch. I think they have really good hooks. But this record is much more somber. It's a little more syrupy than their last record. It's not as like road trippy upbeat, and I think it kind of detracts from it, honestly. But obviously, this is my album of the week. I liked it more than anything else that I listened to this week.
They put some money behind it.
They did. Like, right? Yeah, they have really, really, really good production, and their guitars are amazing, and they have a lot of cool, like, lush orchestral movements and horn arrangements, and they have, like, an instrumental track halfway through the track list that is just a really dope kind of jazzy guitar horn kind of duo, and it's neat. And they... if you like Whitney, you're going to like this record. If you don't really like Whitney, you're probably not going to like it. So it's totally fair. All right, Mr. Billy.
Cool.
Let's talk about our breakup season. This record fucked me up.
Did it?
Thanks
Did you like it?
It put me in a funk, so thanks,
okay.
I guess.
So this is Future Teens breakup season. I read an article that labeled it as a genre that I'm just going to use forever now.
Okay.
Bummer pop.
Oh no!
How great is that? It's
sure
so accurate.
Sure,
it's so accurate.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give it to
it's
him.
in the vibe of like maybe like modern baseball ish.
Yeah,
I don't know, like
emo,
basic emo.
Tell me if I'm on the mark with this. The guy singer,
yes,
reminds me so much of the dude from Wonder Years, but like cleaner.
You saw with Kevin Arnold.
Interesting.
Not literally the one. Sorry, not the TV show Wonder Years.
And I'm talking about I'm talking about Savage is what I should say.
Oh no, sorry. I mean the band, the emo band, the Wonder Years.
I think I don't see that.
No, you don't. Okay,
no, I don't know.
Never mind.
Because I don't like him in anything else but the Wonder Years. Like I don't like his solo stuff. I don't like his voice or anything.
Honestly, kind of why I didn't like the male vocals as much.
Really? I mean, the female vocals are
the thing that upset me
away.
with this record is the female vocals are so good
Yeah.
and so much better, and she's hardly. She does a lot of like background stuff.
Yeah,
and she does frequent crier, which is incredible.
Yes.
But most of the stuff is the male guy, which he's a good vocalist.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
not
the
liking
opening
that.
track,
It's just a
"Happy New
nitpick.
Year," is just what a perfect opening track. Just
just great.
fantastic.
Yeah, just talking about
Like-
how her dog's not gonna last through the year.
Oh my gosh,
all
it's-
her friends abandoned her. Yeah, it's fucking
and
great.
it just
Billy.
builds up, and then it just
a country album?
blows up at the end.
kind
and it's got so much power to it. Emotional Bachelor, so good, and that's a good balance of male and female vocals.
They do a lot of the building thing very well. Like one of my other gripes was like they have a really good run to frequent crier. Jesus Christ. And I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm so stoked for the rest of this record.
Yeah.
And then So What hits. And it's
I
a
love So What.
I like So What too.
Okay.
I don't think it works well right after frequent crier. I'm just gonna call it FC. Right after FC, because you get this like emotional high after FC, and then it's just So What.
Yeah.
But So What builds really, really nicely.
Yeah,
I
right.
think it's a gorgeous song. And my first thought was like, So What would be, or what is it? Yeah, so what? So it would be so nice at the end of the record.
That's fair.
But then Something Nice is the closer, and I was like, fuck, Something Nice is also a really good closer.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just a nitpick, but yeah, the record's great.
It is. It's
great.
really good. It's really good. Another, again, there's not a song in here I dislike.
Yeah, and I think they're really scratching that itch of like, just like, they have a really nice, approachable sound that is not top dollar. Like, I don't think it's overproduced.
No, not at all, right?
I think it's a little messy. It's a little rough around the edges, but like it's just not. It's not super crazy guitar wise or anything. It's just a nice like homey indie record, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real nice. And speaking of homey indie records, just kidding. We don't have anything left. If you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today, there'll be a playlist up on the site containing all the singles and best tracks from this week's albums. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, all the places. Like, subscribe. Take care of yourselves out there. Check in on everybody. Make sure everybody's doing okay. Make sure everybody's in tip-top shape. Love you all. Definitely visit bliss.house. Bliss.HAUS. You know what? Happy New Year. Fuck it. Let's just skip the rest of the year. Visit bliss.house, bliss.HAUS for all of our content. And thanks for everybody for showing up.
I've been petting a cat for the last 10 minutes.